pink leather and lace, and today, let's talk about hot boys. Speaking of hot boys, it seems that over the past 3 episodes, all we've looked at were white, pretty boys. Now, don't get me wrong, I love white, pretty boys, but imagine you're at a buffet and all you had were the potatoes. Wouldn't that be a bit boring? Maybe we need to diversify, maybe try some spices, maybe eat a roast pig, maybe eat some shrimp, and maybe some cauliflower, and some beef and broccoli, and some lasagna, and... Now I'm hungry. Never mind! Cuatro lunas!
Cuatro Lunas, or Four Moons as it is more popularly known, is a 2014 Mexican movie that shows different stages in the lives of gay men as weaved through 4 different narratives, which correspond roughly to the 4 phases of the moon.
Fragments. Fun. Now, consensus on the movie varies from either deep, beautiful, and poetic all the way to sappy soap opera cliches. And a lot of people attribute this to cultural differences and perceptions. But is it really just a matter of culture and temperament? Or could there possibly be some universal underlying themes? Let's find out. Go grab your wine. And trust me, you're gonna need all the wine you have. Let's go watch Cuatro Lunas.
We open with fragments of the 4 narratives. Full Moon, where we see Hugo and Andres, a couple of 10 years, bickering about the movie.
They're the couple I'm gonna hate, am I right?
Then we have New Moon, thankfully not the sucky one, about a kid, Mauricio, who has a crush on his cousin.
¿Y tú quién escoges en el Street Fighter?
Honda.
Nadie escoge Honda.
Fucking noob.
Then Waning Moon, about a married professor named Sebastian who is turned on by a male hustler. Then finally Waxing Moon, where we see Leo and Alfredo, or Fito, childhood friends who meet each other again in college.
I have a feeling this is gonna be my favorite.
The stories aren't presented in short film format in the sense of tensión sexual volátil or relatos salvajes, but as scenes weaving together. However, they don't really intersect narratively, so for ease of review, let us talk about them segment by segment instead of how they weave. Let's start with Luna Nueva or New Moon. Mauricio has a crush on his cousin and he is conflicted. On one hand, Catholic guilt. On the other hand, rising sexuality. Things climax on a supper with their parents.
Entonces se van a ir a Quebec.
Fuerte el frío.
Sí.
Cold? In Quebec?
When they are in Mao's room,
Si yo enseño, ¿tú enseñas?
I am not going to comment on that scene.
Mira cómo está.
Don't show more.
this leads to Mao getting bullied by his cousin and, you know what?
I'm gonna add an asshole counter, huh? Trust me, we're gonna need it.
Things escalate and school officials get involved, and this is where the story drifts. What started as a young boy exploring his sexuality became about a family coming to terms with having a gay son.
The thing is, since the movie is juggling 4 plots and weaving them together, some of the segments may not have the narrative thread to sustain an arc as long as the others, and yet the movie wants to stretch them all out to be equal.
And New Moon is a good example. It took way too long to get to where it needed, and after that it became a whole new movie. The dad is angry.
Pinche dolor de cabeza y mira el escándalo que haces. Por ese maricón. Por esas cosas que haces.
The mom is understanding, and then they end up accepting each other anyway. Yeah, it's not really explained how, and ultimately New Moon, decent premise, way overstretched, and it just ended up a hot mess. So we go to Cuatro Creciente, or Waxing Moon, and
You're gonna need your wine for this.
Fito and Leo, childhood friends reconnecting at college, broing around, partying, And Fito gets Leo to his bed as Leo left his keys.
Pinches llaves de la casa, güey. Todos se fueron a Cuerna, güey. ¿Neta? Sí. Ah, pues vente a mi casa.
I've come up with worse excuses to sleep over.
Fito was talking about his dad's death and then...
Si me hubieras hablado. La neta, si me hubiera hecho un pan.
They wake up together and...
¿No te aplaste y te estorbé? Hasta me dan ganas de darle un beso a tu cachete. ¿Te puedo hacer cosquillas en la boca? ¿Tú eres gay?
He just made out with you?
¿Tú? ¿Eres gay?
No.
We all know you're gayer than a very special episode of Glee.
It's a very no-homo situation.
Gusto verte. Igual, oye, un favor.
Let me guess! Don't tell anyone?
Ya que se supiera lo que pasó.
Not very smart, is it?
Now, in an ironic twist, Leo starts to chase after Fito. They have a date, they hold hands secretly, they give gifts. And you know what? This is a good time to talk about the Latin temperament. While we saw some in New Moon with the idea of religious guilt or patriarchal homes or the taboo, it is more interesting to look at romance. What differentiates representation of love in Hispanic or Latin media is that which is left unsaid. The date that is not a date. The kiss that is not a kiss. The romance that is there but is never spoken about. A mutual understanding. Let's look at Weekend. God, these boys talk the entire movie. Nothing was left unsaid. And even those they couldn't talk about, they were hinting at very explicitly. Art in English tends to be more direct because English is a pragmatic language. But Spanish, Espanol is romantic, and as such, it skirts around the issues. It's a wild tango. 4 Moons, direct to the point, gets its job done. But Cuatro Lunas, just this name, so many connotations. So anyway.
Si quieres. Sí. ¿Tú? Mucho. Quiero decir algo, pero me da un poco de miedo. Dime. No muerdo. Nomás cojo. Que me estoy enamorando de ti.
Sebastian, where's my wine? I'm doing a review. I need more wine. What do you mean, alcohol problems?
And yeah, the conflict's there. It's your run-of-the-mill. I don't want people to know conflict. Fito wants to come out, Leo doesn't, and this does end to them bickering.
Estás en un antro gay. Estás en el teatro.
Yeah, I see no difference.
And they eventually break up.
Cabrón, deja de presionarme. Yo te quiero, pero yo no voy a lastimar a mi familia así. Fueron bien por los dos, ¿verdad? Toma.
In spite of all this, Fito wants to come out to his mom, who doesn't want to hear this.
Christ, do I hate coming out scenes.
But changes her mind after Fito gets devastated when he got stood up by Leo.
Oh, sweetheart. You don't wait for boys. Boys wait for you. You know what? Here's an idiot counter.
So yeah, it's a breakup that never really gets resolved. They just get back together at the end when Leo outs himself to his family. Just like New Moon, this movie meandered off at the end and strongly lacked an event that would bring them back. They get back because happy the fuck ever after? Now, full moon or luna llena, and by God I wish I had more wine. This segment is annoying, and that's complimenting it. Hugo and Andres are a long-term couple who are obviously not happy.
Y no sé si te das cuenta, pero cuando estamos con los amigos te comportas demasiado afeminado.
And it's because Hugo is having an affair. They talk about it and... oh God, they talk about it.
Es solo sexo, ¿verdad? Entonces... ¿qué no te vas a ir y que no me vas a dejar? Dime que no me vas a dejar. Que no me vas a dejar. Dame la oportunidad.
Andres tries to make it work because...
I don't know. Love, I guess.
¿Cómo voy? ¿Cómo vamos? Bueno, si no, no va a dejar de marcar.
And of course it doesn't work because...
Because we all know how this is going to end.
Ya, no sé, soy un pendejo. No me dijiste que tenías a alguien. No volverá a ocurrir. ¿Me lo prometes? Te lo prometo.
Complete and utter bollocks!
it does seem Andres is getting his way as they do seem to reconnect.
Te amo, chiquillo. Te amo.
Let's be honest. Let's just throw in 5 additional idiot points because we know irony.
Dijiste que me ibas a esperar. Venga, tío, no seas cabrón. Habíamos quedado en algo.
That's 5 asshole points for you.
Let's just add a random number of asshole and idiot points. Trust me, these two have earned them.
And because it needs more padding... as Hugo goes to his lover in a gay sex club and ends up in a brawl.
Oh my god, full moon! You broke my asshole counter. Are you happy? Are you happy, full moon? I needed that for tonight's book club. Yeah, you better stay where you are. You're gonna be needed for tonight too.
And to no one's surprise and to everyone's relief, Andres finally leaves Hugo.
That only took him, what? The entire fucking movie to realize?
That a guy who pretty much says he's an asshole is actually an asshole. Full Moon's biggest problem is that it's really sappy, like all-out wet work. And what it has going against it is a clear victim and a clear villain. In the other segments, while we had a more moral character, the person they're up against isn't entirely evil or even bad. In Mao's cousin, he's a goddamn kid. Leo is a teenager who doesn't know how to come out. And, slight spoilers, the asshole in Waning Moon has some good reasons for being one as well. But Hugo is completely irredeemable. There's nothing in him that will elicit sympathy. It wasn't a push and pull of ideas. It was simply us watching someone emotionally abuse his partner. And that is not fun. And finally, let's close this with Waning Moon, or Cuatro Mengante. It's about a dying professor who is obsessed with a male prostitute and...
yeah, that's actually it.
Not to rush the review, but yeah, they banter on the price, the professor and his wife, the professor and his kids, professor getting an award for his poems. Yeah, this segment is extremely padded, the worst of all 4. So basically, the professor is bargaining on the price, he doesn't have the money, so he uses his grandkids' Christmas funds, and when he finally pays it, the rent boy wants it done tomorrow because...
Acabo de dar servicio, cabrón. No puedo seguidas, me arde.
No, pues sí.
Oh my god. What's wrong with you?
They eventually do it. The prostitute actually is just selling his body to get back to his family. The professor invites him to a poetry reading. It's all nice and beautiful, though unnecessarily long. In the moments of longing, in the moments that it needs to be sad, Waning Moon succeeds. Yes, it's unnecessarily long, but for what it's worth, it can be forgiven.
And that was Cuatro Lunas. And there's not much more to say about it.
The segments generally are of varying quality. If I were to rank them, it would be in descending order: waxing, waning, new, and full. Full Moon really is the worst of them. It's the worst form of melodrama. It's really dragging, and a lot of this is due to its premise. It's just a cliche villain-victim story without complexities. The rest of the segments actually shined with its supporting cast, but Full Moon focused on just two of them. And while we've just looked at Weekend, which showed that it's possible to have a full-length movie with just two people, Hugo and Andres just cannot sustain a movie themselves. I could have gone either way with Waning and New, but New Moon felt like two movies about a child's sexuality and a family coming to terms. And it could have been solid as either, but it failed in both by trying to do them. But you know what? Unlike Full Moon, which simply retread the whole asshole idiot thing, at least New Moon tried to do different things with its characters. And you know what? Sometimes it worked, sometimes it was charming, sometimes it was powerful. We didn't spend much time on Waning Moon, but it is a good segment. What really edged it over New Moon was how it is a genuinely sad moment. And we don't have this enough in the movie. The unspoken sorrow in the professor outweighed any of the crying moments in the entire movie. It was a very silent, poignant beauty that unfortunately was just bogged down by extreme padding. And yes, Waxing Moon gets the cake. Waxing is a great segment, though it may not be strong enough to sustain a full-length movie. What makes Waxing really good was when it wanted to be sweet, when it wanted to be romantic, when it wanted to be tender, it succeeded in all the right places, and really, it does overshadow any narrative flaws it might have. But you know what? What makes this entire movie work is how all four work together. And yes, this includes Full Moon. I could not imagine the film without any of the segments. They weirdly mesh together, and a lot of this is the fact that the four are clearly differentiated in storylines, in score, in lighting, in pacing, and in tone. They are different stories. While we looked at all four separately, when the four are combined into a singular storyline, the movie does arc. What the movie also has is a lot of heart, and a lot of this is, again, the Latin temperament. All storylines are cliches. Young boy experimenting with sexuality. Childhood friends reuniting at college. Long-term couple separating due to infidelity. Old man obsessed with young man. These are all cliches. And narratively, there really wasn't anything new that was added to the trope. From the first time we saw them, we knew how each segment was going to end. But what the movie adds is passion. We followed a childlike curiosity and felt the pain of betrayal and the sadness of isolation. We felt the sting of first love, the bitterness of first heartbreak, and the joy of finding out who you are. We hated the partner who cheats, and we sympathized with the one who wanted to keep the relationship going. And we walked with the old man who was trying to find a few last pleasures before he died. And ultimately, that is the temperament. It's less logical and more emotional, less explicit and more subtle, less clear and more muddled.
I really like Cuatro Lunas. It is one of my favorite films, though I am from an Hispanic background. But you know what I can guarantee? You will find this movie an emotional roller coaster, and you will enjoy it. You will laugh, you will cry, you will fall in and out of love. Because that's life. There are assholes we can fall in love with, and we can become idiots when we're around them. But even sometimes we are the assholes, and they can be the idiots for putting up with us. Yes, Seb? Oh, thank you, Sebastian. This is pink leather and lace.